All right, let's jump straight into it. OpenTofu, up there with the list of silliest names, but I like it. I try to stay at least 50% vegan. OpenTofu, which is the rebrand of OpenTF, has been announced by the Linux Foundation.
It's official.
OpenTF, if you've been living under a rock, HashiCorp had this tool called Terraform for infrastructure management. It was open source for like 9 years. They changed the license to be source available, the business license, same thing that MongoDB did in Elasticsearch, which is totally fine, trying to protect their business. And a whole bunch of companies that stand to pay a lot for this license change forked the Terraform project into OpenTF, now rebranded into OpenTofu and made it into the Linux Foundation, which is a big step. It does make it more official-ish. And you shared with me a blog post that I want to highlight that says this is not a correct way to represent it, that OpenTF is not a fork, right?
Yeah, so Ray Myers on LinkedIn, who's a staff reliability engineer at Indeed, wrote this interesting post that kind of puts a different spin on this topic. The headline is OpenTF, or now OpenTofu, is not the fork. And his argument is that historically, at least for many open source tools, when they have closed source version sort of dwindles and fades into obscurity. It's the open source fork that continues and lives on. So in that sense, by adding a closed source license, that was the act of forking to a closed source version. So OpenTF or OpenTofu is the continuation of the old one. And he points to Jenkins as an example of this. I think...
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Jenkins used to be called Hudson. I didn't know the history, and I haven't verified that this is accurate, but apparently Hudson went commercial, and Jenkins is the free version of that.
That we all know today, and like who knows about Hudson?
Other examples I can think of, a little bit less extreme example would be Maria database versus MySQL. Both are still active and proud, but I would imagine that Maria is a little bit more common these days. I certainly has been on the project I've been using. And I think we could point to 1,000 other examples too.
The one I like is BitKeeper. Do you remember that? Do you know what that is?
I know what it is.
So it used to host the Linux code until they changed license, right?
Yeah, okay.
And then they just went and built Git. So I guess they forked the capabilities. And, who knows about BitKeeper today, but every single developer in the world uses Git.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a few bank COBOL developers who still use SVN. I don't know. But anyways, OpenTofu is either the next big thing in the Linux Foundation or the greatest prank for everybody to say the words OpenTofu out loud.